here with a beautiful couple, young leaders. Tell us why you come to Global Summit and what does the feminine expression mean for you?
Do you want to go first?
Go for it.
What does it mean for me? I think just bringing women and men, I think that's also important, bringing men and women together to have like a passion and a purpose. And we can I think for me, when you go out in society, especially as an Asian woman, you have to feel like you have to dim your light quite a lot. I feel here you can just be like, you're crazy, wild, you can speak your voice and you can come together and feel supported by other like-minded individuals, both men and female, female individuals. So I feel like that was a big thing that kind of drew me, and just to get inspiration. Like, it's such an inspiring day. Today's gonna be all about health, tomorrow's gonna be about business, and just get a bit of like nuggets to take back into reality and life. So yeah.
It's Global Women Summit, but as you alluded to, it's amazing to have our men to support us. Tell me why you're here.
Why are you here? I think it's really beautiful to be a fly on the wall when women are coming together to celebrate their wonder, but more than that, then use their voice to come into positions of power and make sure that they are coming into positions of power, but also opportunity. I think in a unfortunately male-dominated world, it is more difficult for women to be in positions of power because of the fact that there are fewer opportunities and there is inequitable access for women to use their voice. And this is a platform to remind us that when women are leading from the front, the world is a much more beautiful place. So this is what we need to do to support women to use their voice with full integrity and conviction. So that's why I'm here.
Yes, I feel that rippling in every cell, because we could say that it wouldn't have the same potency versus coming to what we call the evolved masculine, who isn't being threatened, who isn't competing, but actually is holding the space and is proud. Are you married? Tell us.
Yeah.
Are we married, Bebe?
No.
We need to chat. Okay.
We've been friends for 5 years and then started dating 2 years ago. So I think our beautiful bond of friendship is what allowed us to blossom into something a lot more special.
And definitely be authentic. Like, I'm loud, I'm outgoing, but I have a real feminine energy to me that not many people see. And I think because we were friends first, that was very easy to be like, I can have both sides and I can take both sides, because I'm a CEO and I run my own business and I'm a coach and I'm an author and a channel swimmer, but I'm also like this little like child that will come back and be like following him around and cry at every advert. So it's about having the balance.
What is it about him that allows you to be more in that feminine, empowered, loving state?
Non-judgment. It doesn't matter how you turn up. That is one thing Naveen does, is that is no judgment. And I think that's who he is and embodied, and I think that's also what he takes into his workplace with his own clients and what he does on a day-to-day basis. Why he's so good at what he does is that it doesn't matter what you say, what you do, it's completely a place of non-judgment and not trying to change the other person. Yeah, so that's.
So you feel totally safe, whoever you are, whatever you are, to express the wonder of the feminine energy. And what is it about her that makes you step into what we call the evolved masculine?
I think she's a ball of light and her energy is very infectious. So I love her eccentric energy, I love her light, I love how vibrant she is, I love that anyone that comes into interaction with her, she creates a sense of belonging with them. And also she just holds space for me to be able to be in my zen if I want to be silly if I want to be playful. And there are elements of my personality where I can be quite extrovert and quite loud, but they come in spurts and with people that give me energy. So I think as much as I'm accepting of her, I think she's very accepting of me. And even if we're both in very different energetic fields at a given moment in time, which does happen, especially in the morning, I am someone who loves silence and she loves
We got up. What are we doing?
I think we just let each other be. So she can talk at me for ages, and I just let her whilst I'm just in my own space, just walk. And it happened on the walk here. You know, we're just allowing each other to be in each other's space, even if the vibration is on a different level at that moment, which I think is really important in a partnership, just to enable the other to be.
And not get
So
frustrated.
beautiful.
I think him not getting frustrated with the fact that I've got that energy, and me not getting frustrated with the idea that, like, why are you not giving me the same vibrations back? Just being like, well, this is allow me to be this, and you can be that, and there's no lack of love because of it, but just appreciating that we're just different sometimes.
Beautiful. And you know, I really wanted to interview you guys because it is love Armageddon out there. 80 to 90% of relationships are failing these days, and many people are giving up hope. And in fact, what I find really sad is we're evolving not to want this emotional intimacy. So speaking to you guys and learning your strategies and giving hope is just so important. So yes, I mean, what is your view on love? What does love mean for you?
Do you want to go, or shall I go first?
Go.
What does love mean? That's a really big question. For me, I think love is always unconditional. I think it's something that you pour from. I think love is something that you start here in yourself, and you build yourself up with love, and then you pour over and you give it to other people. And then that becomes unconditional. And it shouldn't be, I'm going to fill myself up, give you love, and then expect you to give me love back. And I think for me, that's the definition of what love is. And it can be challenging and difficult, and sometimes you just want to scream and run away, but it means that, like, okay, we're going to get back and we're going to work out how we're going to make this work and go again tomorrow. So yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes this is why relationships struggle, because it's, you're not making me feel love, and it's taking. But I love what you say. You fill yourself up, and the relationship is a place to give. Beautiful.
And it's interesting that you say that, because even yesterday, I'm being very, very vulnerable in this, but even yesterday I had a conversation with Naveen, and I said, I'm struggling with the way that you love me. It's a me thing. This is not a you thing. It's an I. When you come to a conversation in a relationship, it shouldn't be you are doing this wrong. It should be I am struggling with this in our relationship. And we just love, sometimes we love differently. And actually him just sitting there reminding me, like, Leah, actually, yeah, I do. I'm not going to tell you I love you, you're this amazing, all the time. But just think about these little acts that I've done over the last couple of days that have shown you in my way how to love. And I'm like, actually, that makes sense. We just love differently, and that's okay. So it's about us.
It's love languages as well, because ultimately it's such a joy to make you feel adored, and just understanding that you feel adored in this way, and it's such a privilege to be able to do that. And sometimes people just don't communicate it. Like, I feel loved, I want flowers, I want a hug, and all the rest of it. And so we get frustrated with our partner. Well, just tell them, just ask, because men are straightforward, right? What does love mean for you?
I'd say very simply, love is home.
Oh, Bebe.
That's it. Yeah.
And clearly, you've helped each other experience more love. I would say relationship is a catalyst for growth, to develop the love muscle, so you can love your colleagues, your work, the planet, other people more. Right?
That's very true. I think especially when you live a life where it's quite solitary, you're in a community, but you don't have a companion. So when I chose to live a life of deep introspection and spirituality, which involves celibacy, to come into something completely different definitely took me a while, and I think you've been very patient with that. I know as I've been patient with you on certain things, this is one thing that you've been very patient with me on, in terms of welcoming another person into my sacred space. That is not something that you're able to do, because with everyone else in the world, they come close and then they go back to their own life. But with a partner, you're sharing that space, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So that's something that took me time, and I'm very grateful for when it comes to her patience with that. And persistence.
Will you love me? Will you love me?
In the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Hello? So, is there something you want to tell me? So you're clearly both on the spiritual path. How is the relationship a vehicle for that spiritual growth then?
How is the relationship a vehicle for that spiritual growth? Wow, that's a great question. I think honesty, vulnerability, transparency. You just have to show up as you are, however you are, because there's no other way. There's no other way. Whether they accept you or not is besides the point. All you can do is show up as you are, however you are, and accept yourself for who you are, and then the rest will unfold. But I think that is really important first for the self, because no way on this earth are we going to generate acceptance from others if we're not able to do it for ourselves. And come home to the self first, and give that sense of peace to the self first before I even feel I can distribute that or even hold space for someone else.
You can't give what you haven't got, right? Ultimately,
Yeah.
as what you were saying earlier.
Yeah. So I think from all those years of deep introspection, which continues still today, I think that is something that I prioritize, is how do I accept myself as I am, however I am, so that when someone is coming into that, they're also able to hold that space for me as I am able to do that for them.
I'm going to ask, what do you want to say around the spiritual nature of the connection?
Yeah, so I think spirituality was something that was always been part of our relationship. And when we first got together, I would talk to my friends and I would say, the thing is about Naveen is that I've dated other guys and it's okay because I have confidence in who I am. And if they've dated other women, I know how great I am. It's all right. I know that they go out there, I don't have trust issues or anything like this. But I've got to compete with God in this relationship. He's done 15 years of celibacy. Like, how am I even going to compete with that relationship? And I think once all that dust has settled and everything, it's true. Like, I don't need to worry
God or me, Friday date night.
And I don't think it is. You're so right. I don't think it ever is. We're two individuals, and our relationship with spirituality and our relationship with God comes first. And once that is grounded, we will come together as individuals. And when I've at the lowest point in my life or things are getting really challenging, that is the first place I go. I will sit in meditation. I will sit in solution. And then if I can't do anything, I panic and I run to Naveen. I'm like, ah. Or I'm like, I've sat for 5 minutes in meditation. He's like, go. He said, do you need some alone time? Yeah, I think you need some alone time. So I think it's about tapping into the relationship with yourself and God first, and then coming to the relationship and understanding. And that's a very new concept for me, because my family are a very nuclear, kind of on top of each other. We all want to be in each other's business about everything and every life decision and screenshots of every relationship. Yeah, it's just very intense. So that was a very new thing that we have developed in our relationship. And I think I'm very, very grateful for it, because it's showed me a different side of spirituality for sure.
Yeah, I can feel it. We say relationships are a catalyst for your growth at every level. And, I say, is love Armageddon out there? There's 80 to 90% people who are failing relationships. What advice or hope or message could you give them that would help them do the work that you've clearly done to still have an open heart and go for love?
I feel like I wanted to ask you and Carl this question. Because Carl's right here. And just sharing an insight as to your relationship, or catching a snippet of your relationship. It sounds really beautiful in terms of how you've been able to hold space for each other. And the way that you're even speaking now, it just really feels that there's so much sincerity in your energy that
Agreed.
it's so heartwarming to see your realness in your spiritual journey. Like, there's very few people who can be so sincere and so true to their story, and I feel that coming from someone like yourself. So it's lovely that you've been able to hear us with so much attention and so much love and so much care, but it's also a true testament to you as a human being. So thank you for holding space in the way that you have been.
Privilege, because I feel your connection. I feel how you're so different, and yet you complement. I've got the visual at 6 o'clock in the morning. What's happening? It's very similar to ours. That's why I laugh. I know to
It's a little bit too close to home, isn't it?
It is. It's absolutely beautiful. And what message of hope could you give, maybe, to not give up on love? Open your heart. Do the work that you have.
I'm a sucker for love. Like, I'm a Disney character. Like, from the baby age, I was like, I'm going to find my Prince Charming, I'm going to get married to 21, and then I'm going to have babies, and everyone's going to be done by 25.
I'm sorry, I'm going to take her home. I have 3 sons. I'm going to adopt this one. I want this one. So
You
yummy.
win.
So yummy.
But the problem is I'm 32 and I haven't had, but that's fine. But I think it is that like I'm a sucker for love. So I never gave up on the idea of love, but I think once you're in that relationship, I would say 2 things. 1, be kind. If you could be anything, be kind. Like when we get in heated discussions, I always try, even though I get quite, like, I'm very passionate, but both
feminine energy. Yes, our nature. We're emotional, volatile creatures.
very, very passionate. But I think what I try and do is I try and look at like a baby version of Naveen and be like, that is the person I'm talking to when I speak to him, because I'm like, he's obviously showing up in a manner that's triggered him, and I'm doing the same. And let's just act as if like 2 5-year-olds have come together and we're trying to talk to each other. And I try and do that when we communicate with each other, because I'm like, yeah, I could see this 37-year-old man, but I'm like, okay, let's just step it back. So 1, be kind, and 2, just over communicate, communicate, because the more you communicate, the better you get to know each other, and from that space you can only come from empathy. So I think they're the 2 things that I would say that worked in our relationship, I think.
So beautiful. You give hope. We need radical loving role models in the world, especially young ones, to, just this delicious, yummy energy between you 2. I hope it will give other people hope that do the work, right? This is not easy, right?
No.
Just let's not pretend it's not. I've been together with Carl 23 years. It's still not easy. It's still not easy. Because every day we have to commit to kindness, to love, to growing ourselves. And for us, it's a spiritual vehicle to experience the divine through each other and with each other. And it takes work.
100%. 100%. We have had, like, we may look harmonious, but we've done 2 years of long distance, communication struggles. Like, you've done it all. You've definitely got to do the work, no?
Absolutely.
Yeah.